What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and we got 3 more games from week 1 to go through and preview today. That's right, we have the Sunday slate of games to preview today. They go from noon all the way to 8 o'clock, so if you really want to, you can sit there all day on Easter Sunday. Happy Easter to every one of you out there, by the way. But you can sit on your couch from noon and watch games all day long if you want to, and I think that that's pretty cool. And really, to me, I think that that might be part of the thing, but it just seems to have a college feel to it. Just the pageantry that they've put around the USFL, and maybe too because they do have a lot of guys who, head coaches wise, that have had huge experience in college ranks. It just has that feel to me, and I like that because I'm a guy who really loves college football. That's kind of where I kind of sit in. Don't get me wrong, the NFL game is okay. The No Fun League is fine. But really, for me, the college football games are where it's at, and I think that we're going to get that type of a feel, and I think that we're going to get that in it and with it. Why? Because I think that this game is going to be much more faster paced than a usual NFL game. So we'll see how that transpires, how these rules work, and how they keep pushing things along with these games. But I'm excited, so let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and let's start breaking down these games. Now, the first game on the slate is going to be a noon game, and this one is going to be on NBC and Peacock. And really, I don't know how that's going to work. If you just have the Peacock streaming service, if you can watch it, or if this is just going to be like NBC and they're just putting the Peacock, branding on it. The way I'm taking is that you can watch it on either one, if you have NBC or if you have Peacock. So that game's going to start at 12 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be in Protective Stadium. Now, looking at this game, we have the Houston Gamblers versus the Michigan Panthers. And there really isn't a home team, an away team. They haven't really said anything like that. But the Gamblers were listed first and Panthers were listed second. So, you can go like you want with that. But the Panthers are giving up 2.5 points to the Gamblers. The over-under line is 43.5 points for this game. Now, if you want to go through and look at the weather, if you're that type of a person, in Birmingham on Sunday, right at noon, it's going to be about 62 degrees. It's going to be about 75% chance of precipitation, and the wind is going to be roughly around 7 miles an hour with that. We'll see what happens. It's looking like it's going to be kind of, a more bleak looking day out there. But, those of us watching on TV, I think it'll be fine. I think that these teams both are going to come out excited to play. It's week 1. They're going to be excited. I think that there's going to be a decent amount of fans in the stands for this game, and I think that they're going to be excited with it. To look at this game and to break this game down, I think that this game is going to be one of those games to where I think that both of these teams are going to have strong showings, but I think that the firepower from the Panthers, I think, is going to push them over the hump with it, and I'll break that down for you right now. So let's first go ahead and let's look at what the Gamblers have. The Gamblers have Clayton Thorson, who's going to be their quarterback, and really they're going to try to, like most Kevin Sumlin teams, they're going to try to be very dynamic. They're going to try to push the ball down the field as quickly as possible, score as quickly as possible, and go from there. I think that, looking at this team, that when you look at the way that they're, set up, the way that they're meant, their offense is meant to push it with their wide receivers, with their running backs, and that with it, I look at this, to be a team, that is going to come at you on offense, and we'll see how Thorson does. He's probably one of those quarterbacks that is lower on my list of quarterbacks, but he might actually turn out to be a pretty dynamic quarterback, especially with him being in a Kevin Sumlin type of a situation. And when I look at things on defense, I think that their defense is going to be a strong suit for them, especially this is the first game of the season. So guys are going to be excited. Guys are going to be running around the field. They're actually, really, really getting to hit people, in a live game setting that means something. And I think that, Kevin Sullivan's going to have these guys fired up. He is a guy that brings a lot of energy to the field. So not only do you have an instance where there's supposed to be a lot of energy in the stadium, but you add a high energy head coach that does tend to, really equate well for the defense. And two, I think that this defense is going to be a strong looking defense, one of the best looking defenses in the league as things go on and progress throughout the season, and I think that we'll see some of that on display here in this game. However, with Michigan, when you look at Michigan, they had obviously the first overall pick with Shea Patterson, but he has, Paxton Lynch, a former first-round draft pick, breathing down his neck. I think that Shea Patterson is probably the perfect fit for a Jeff Fisher style of offense. He is a guy who can not only run, but he can definitely throw the ball down the field. He does have some issues, with throwing interceptions and making bad decisions here and there, especially, when he is going off the cuff, when he's going off script, and is, play breaks down, he's got to make a decision. Sometimes he doesn't make the best decisions, and we'll see what happens and how that transpires, especially with this defense that's going to be running around, coming at him nonstop. And yes, I know, I get it. We don't really have a lot to go off of with this, but, that's why we break down these games. That's why it's fun to do this, because it's cool to see how this is going to lay out, how this is going to work out. But as I look at it and as I see it, that's how I see it with this game. I think that you're going to have, it'll be interesting to see how Scott the third factors in here. I think that he is going to be featured in this. I think that you're also going to have Jeff Bedett. I think he's going to see a lot of balls thrown his way with it. And, I think that part of the things that's going to keep the Gamblers in this game is that when you do look at that Michigan defense, they were guys, kind of Michigan, when they picked in the draft, they were more the offensive sided, advantage, earlier rounds, whereas earlier in the rounds, whereas their defense was picked later on in the rounds for a lot of those type of, things in that. So in that weird convoluted draft. So as I'm looking at this, and that I think that you're going to have a little bit of a weaker defense on their side, to where I think that the Gamblers, weak offense with the weak defense going against a strong offense and a strong defense, I think is going to bode well for this game. I think that the Panthers defense is going to give up some things that they probably shouldn't, with them being a weaker defense. And I think that the Gamblers are going to get beat by the Panthers offense, because I think that, Jeff Fisher and, what Shea Patterson does, I think is going to, propel them forward. I don't see any quarterback changes in this game. I think that both of the, signal callers are going to make it through the game just fine. I think both of them are going to have okay games. This one is going to be one, that is going to be fun to watch. I don't think you're going to have any team that's going to really pull forward, but I think that the Panthers are going to be pretty much in control of this game, and I think that that's how things are going to end. As I look at it, I will go ahead and take the Panthers and give up the 2.5 points. Now for the 43 and a half points in this game. This is one of those things where we get into that where you just don't know this thing. So I think that these football games are going to be fast paced. However, with them being fast paced, I think that you're going to get through the game clock a lot quicker than you would in an NFL game, which, or a college game, to where I don't think you're going to get the stoppages like you normally would get in college football, to where there's going to be less scoring than what it really feels like. And that's kind of how the XFL was. There was a lot of boom, 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 move. But when you actually looked at the scoreline, it wasn't a lot of points, and you felt like there was actually more happening than really what the score entailed. And I think that that's going to happen here. But 43 8.5 points. I don't know. I think in this scenario, in this instance, I think I'm just going to go out there and I'm just going to say, let's go ahead and go with the under. I don't think that either one of these teams are going to be scoring a lot. And I think that the opportunities that they have, I think they'll take advantage of them, but I don't think there's really going to be a lot of that. I think it's going to be a lot more back and forth. And I think that, in the end, the Panthers are going to win. If you want to go ahead and look at it, I think let's go somewhere around a like 21-17, 24-17, something like that. And I think that that's kind of where I think that things are going to fall in all of that with this game. For our second game, this is a game, I'm telling you, it's going to be a barn burner. You do not want to sleep on it. And I know that this game is going to be sandwiched in the middle of the day. You just had, an emotional, great game for the first game, and you've got a nightcap coming up at 8. But this game at 4 o'clock is going to be a fun one that people are going to talk about for the whole week. I think that this one is going to have some neat, exciting highlights in it. I think that this one is going to be really your most exciting, maybe not best football game, depending upon how you look at it, but this one's going to be your most exciting game. So let's go ahead and let's break it down. This game is going to be at 4 p.m. It's going to be at Protective Stadium. This game is going to be between the Philadelphia Stars and the New Orleans Breakers. Now, the Breakers are giving up 2.5 points to the Stars, and the over-under here is 44 points. And you can definitely tell this is the highest over-under that we have for the Week 1 season. And I think that that's rightfully so there. So, with this game, looking at it, the weather pretty much going to be the same as all of the other games. It's going to be a little bit warmer midday, so it'll be about 65 degrees or so there, possibly up to the upper 60s with it. Now, precipitation is going to be about 60%. And the wind is going to be around 6-7 miles an hour there. So nothing crazy going on there. But the story for me here is really the Stars. I think that the Stars are really going to be one of those fun teams that you're going to watch. And really, Brian Scott, when I first watched the Spring League when they were on FS1, and I saw that Generals team go out on the field, I was just impressed by them. And really, with Bart Andrus and him having Brian Scott at the helm, that tandem I didn't realize this, they never lost together. And I think when you add in Holland, who is just a hard-nosed running back that just figures out a way to wiggle his way around, to find room, and just to gain yards. He's actually a really dynamic runner, fun guy to watch. I think in these loud uniforms, having Scott and having Holland, I think is just going to be I think it's just going to be a fun experience, and having the hard-nosed coaching of Andrus, I think that this team is going to be, they're going to be electric. You're going to see, Scott slinging the ball around. You're going to see him, kind of running for his life, getting yards with his feet. You're going to see Holland make some cool moves to get the ball down the field, to run down the field. This is going to be a fun team to watch from that aspect. And I really do think that after this game, they could quite possibly be the talk of the league when you look at the highlight reels, when you have, the analyst looking at things and breaking things down. This team is going to quickly become one of the top contenders in the league. I'm excited to watch them. I think that they are going to be fun to watch on the field. And really, turning it over to the Breakers and looking at the Breakers and what Larry Fedora does, he is a no-huddle, one back kind of a guy, and I think that he is planning on doing that. I think he's got a great quarterback for that. Kyle Slother, I think, is a guy who is higher up than when he was picked in the draft. I think that he's a guy who's moved around the NFL enough that the problem is that nobody's really seen him other than garbage time for, the preseason type of stuff, and to where I don't think he gets the due that he needs here. And I think that Larry Fedora is going to give him the reins. They're going to push. And just with their style of offense, I don't think, they're not going to be as in sync as the Generals. I just think they're going to create opportunities for themselves, and Slother's going to make some good decisions. And he's going, like I said, I think he is in, closer to the top half of the quarterbacks than really what he was picked in the draft. And I think that he's going to be a great complement to the dynamic wide receivers that they have. I can't go without talking about Johnny Dixon. I think that Johnny Dixon, Buckeye, I hope he has a great day. Looking forward to seeing him back out on the field again. But I think that these teams are just going to go back and forth. I think that this is going to be, somewhere like a 35-24, a 38-28 game. I think you might even get some weird numbers, because I think out of these two teams, I think that they're going to be the two teams that actually go for those weird, 2 points, go for possibly one of them might go for a 3-point play, especially as I think as the Breakers play catch up with this. I think what's going to happen is I think that the Breakers are going to lose this game. I think they're going to lose probably somewhere between 7 to 10 points to the Stars. I think that even though the Stars are giving up points here, I think that the Stars are going to be I think they're going to win this game. And so I would definitely go ahead and take the points with the Stars. I think they're going to win outright. The over-under, I think, is going to get blown up in this game. I think that you're going to have a lot of scoring. People are going to be talking about this game. This one is not going to be your defensive bout. I'm telling you, this one's going to be all offense all day long. And I think because of the teams trying to position themselves and with the scoring and, trying to catch up with the Breakers, I think you're going to get like a weird, like 19, not like a 19, like a 29 or something like that, or like a 23, or a 25, something crazy like that, like a 32. I think that you're going to have like a weird just score like that, like a 32-25 or something, or 32-26, something just weird. And I think, this one is going to be the one, if you watch any of the games on Sunday, this is the one to watch. It is going to be on USA Network, which is going to be a little bit different, to where it'll be interesting to see how USA does this. Is it just going to be straight, Fox broadcast, but on USA? It'll be just kind of interesting to see how that all transpires. But with this game, do not sleep on it. This is the game that you want to watch. And to finish things out, we have our final game of the night, and it's between the Pittsburgh Maulers and the Tampa Bay Bandits. This game is going to be played at Protective Stadium like all the other games for the day. This game is going to be at 8 p.m. It's going to be on FS1, and the Bandits are giving up 3.5 points to the Maulers. The over-under is 41.5 points. Looking at the weather, it's going to be much of the same thing. It's going to be about 65 degrees, about a 60% chance of rain, and about a 5-mile-an-hour winds is what you're going to get there. I don't think that this is going to have any factor on the game, though, because I think that this is going to be more of a defensive-minded, struggle in the trenches type of game. This is not going to be, your throwing the ball around type of a game where you're going to see a lot of high flying. I don't really see that happening in this game. I see it going one of two ways. Either this is a slugfest that Tampa Bay wins, or this is a blowout by Tampa Bay. I don't see the Maulers winning at all in this, and not that I want to take anything away from Wilson, but I just believe that both of their philosophies are fairly similar. I think that Todd Haley, with his experience, and with Teamu, I think that that's going to be really the difference in this game. When I look at things, you have on Wilson's side of things, I think that he's going to end up being an all right coach in this league, and I think his style is going to keep them around in games. I just don't think that they're going to win games. I don't think that they're going to have the edge. I don't think that Laletta is really the quarterback that they need in this situation, even though he's not going to really be given the reins to really let loose. I don't think that you're going to see that happen. I think you're going to see a they're going to rely heavily on the run game. I just feel like that's where it is. So you got Groshek and London are going to be the two guys that you're going to see. I think you're going to see heavily both of them. One guy might emerge more than the other, but you're going to see they're going to be relying so much on the run game that they're going to be rotating guys in and out. You're going to see a lot of that from them. And when you look at things on the other side of the ball, when you look at them, I think that you're going to be a hard-nosed defense that's going to, not give up a lot. I think that, Wilson's background is a guy who has some defensive coaching coordinator position and also has a lot of experience with running and coaching running backs. So I think you're going to see that come out in this game, and I think that you're going to see that from his players. However, I think that a lot of people are expecting this to be Te'amu's coming out party here. I think that, people are expecting him to be the guy in the league, especially what he did in the XFL in the short stint that he was there. I will say, as the season went on in the XFL, teams started to kind of figure him out, but he is a guy who makes smart decisions. I think pairing him with Haley and Haley's system is going to make sense for them. I think he's going to fit right in there. I think that these guys are going to do well. I don't think that it's going to translate into the scoring that we might think, but I think when everything is all said and done, I think when you look at his stats, when you actually look at the stats of Te'amu, people are going to be impressed. Again, I think he's going to have a high completion rate, ratio, percentage, and I think he's going to end up with a couple touchdowns, a couple touchdown passes, and somewhere around 300 yards passing is, I think, where he's going to end up. People are going to be like, wowed by him, but I don't think that they're going to score a lot in this game. I feel like that this game they're going to, win it a 24-10, 9, 12, something around there, or like 21, 22. Like I said, I think that, I think that you're going to get some weird scores because of you can go for 1, you can go for 2, or you can go for 3. So I think that you're going to get some weird scores in some of these games, but this one's just going to be a slugfest through and through, unless the Bandits really, figure things out, they start clicking, and I could see this turn into a real blowout with it. I don't think that this is going to have the energy that they're wanting for their night game. I think that this one is kind of going to be over quick and done, and it's not going to be a bore fest, so to say, but it's not going to be what you're wanting to be your premier game, at 8 o'clock on a Sunday evening. That's just kind of the way that I'm looking at it. So definitely give up the points, take the Bandits, and I would take the under on this game. I think that those of you who love that type of a ground and pound, a defensive struggle type of a game, this is the game for you. You're going to love this game, and it's going to solidify for you that, USFL is good football. And that's what I'm going to leave you with. I think that we're going to get a lot here that's going to tell us, this is good football. These are good football players. These guys, we need to be seeing them on the field, and people are going to be talking about what is next week with the next matchups. I think that people are going to come away impressed with the league and what they're doing. I think that people are going to love the innovation that this league is bringing, that Fox, the technology that they're bringing in, and again, the hype train with NBC and Fox and them both spearheading this thing, I think is also going to help, because you're going to have, them both putting this out there heavily to where I think that it's going to be something that people are going to be talking about and people are going to be liking and looking forward to for next week. As always, I want to know your thoughts down in the comment section. Let me know what you think, where I missed it, where I was right on. I'd love to know. Leave it down in the comment section, and we'll continue the conversation on down there. All right, listen, guys, I know that you're busy, and I know that I'm busy, so let's get on out of here. You have a good night. Bye.